Hello and welcome back, Normal Player Guy. So today we're going to be discussing the top 10 best free-to-play units on Global Dokkan at the moment. Now, to make this much easier, I've only decided to do the drop units, i.e. no tournament units from there. So this is what the top 10 will be as a good idea, the best free-to-play units. This will be a really good idea for new players as well. But absolutely, some of the more seasoned rainbow going players will go for. So we're going to open up straight away with the top 10. So now we're going to have the Easy A and then its final form, Frieza. Specifically, this is the one that's always about the Goku family, which is a fairly common enemy. So they did really, really good considering this was just a free-to-play throwaway. So now, against the Goku family, you got Guard, you have the damage reduction should Guard activate, and all allies get 2 key 20% attack and defense when there's a Goku family enemy. And he does stack attack, and he does lower attack. You will find in some of these have a Super Battle Road where there's always going to be a some form of Goku family enemy, and it's usually I think one of the, I can't remember which one it is in particular, but there's a Goten on one, and then there's a Gohan on the other, and I think there is a more adult Gohan on one of the others. So always going to get guard on there, which is really really good. So very limited, but extremely well focused. That's actually really good. So if you're going to, I quite like how they make these free-to-play units that are just one-offs, but they're very focused, allowing you to really double down on something quite specific. Now, for new players, Wicked Bloodline, it's only 77%, but that's actually pretty good. You type that in with your 50% to any int type. If you're brand new, you can get this guy. The easy A needed for him, the characters, you may have to do a little bit of work, but you can get this guy, no worries. And in fact, even before his awakening, he was still an int type across the board, and he still actually reduced damage and guarded against a Goku family enemy. But if you're looking for his leader skill, then newer players have to do a little bit of grinding. But there's no doubt this guy is extremely good. And of course, we'll just throw him straight away into number 10. So, straight into number 9, we actually have LR Frieza. Now, you could say it's a bit of a funny one considering he's extremely powerful with one of the best link sets in the game, and he works well on almost every single team. But I just felt that compared to the rest of what's coming through, what's in his kit, what's in his passive super attack effect, you'll find that while he's very good, he doesn't offer as much. So he's really, really good for absolutely everyone. His easy A made it really, really good. Prior to that, this passive was just, well, I don't know. Well, this was like what? This is like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. This guy came out a long time ago, and now that they awakened him to something even better, he's just absolutely dominating. He's a slot 1 or slot 3 attacker, but considering he gets the additional defense on attack, realistically, he's a great supporter. Of course, he's got the trio of the villain links, and of course legendary power, and he's brilliant on every single one of these. He's probably MVP on Planet Namek Saga, Wicked Bloodline. You can run him on Dragon Ball Seekers, you can run him on Space Traveling Warriors, and of course Sworn Enemies. He is absolutely brilliant with the new LR Frieza. So really really good. Of course, his leader skill as well for new players, so it's really good that it's extreme class with 4 key 90% to stats. It even works with a super class. Now, I could have cheated, and I will do a little bit, but I could have cheated by putting the Goku equivalent, the Tech Goku, on here as well. But I just found that this guy just did a little bit more. Now, prior to his awakening, he can still be of some use. He still has these links, although of course he's got nothing in his passive, so you got to hide him. And of course his leader skill is rubbish, so you want to go for the extreme Z Awakening. However, to get him is probably one of the most arduous grinds, especially for free-to-play players or new players, really. So because you've got to have the Tech LR Goku and his EZA, along with a bunch of others, and some of them you can only get from the barber shop, like the STR Krillin, who is not very good, even in the slightest. All of them have got to have their EZAs for you to trial this, which makes it quite a task. Now, of course, if you're much more seasoned, you probably had all these guys ready to go, so this guy could have just jumped in and do it straight away. Should newer players get this guy in this form, he's really good for his leader skill. That's why he's only at number 9 though. He's really good, but he doesn't really do much other than just support himself. So of course that was number 9, and number 8 will be Whis. So this is a unit that you can get from the hero strikes back, or whichever one it is. I can't remember. There's always two of them. Where the units, the heroes fight back or the villains strike back. They're always out, and you can get certain medals to awaken them. Hatchiak is on one of the other ones, the physical Hatchiak, and AGL Whis is on this one. Do not underestimate this guy. While he may have had his awakening out right now, he probably will have an EZA at some point as well. Now, he does have a nice stun chance. He does have a nice 100% and 2 key at start of turn. And of course, he gets a nice additional of each attack performed. So imagine having up to 200% defense in this guy. Don't be fooled, his defense is actually on the low side. It's at 7,000. You're not really going to be looking good. But even in Super Battle Road, Extreme Super Battle Road, if you're running a monotype, he gets 2 key for himself. So it's not as arduous to get his super attack, but he builds up as well. I mean, he's actually pretty good. Now, what really is good about him is, so if you fall less than 30% HP, so it's no more than, say, int LR cell, you'll fully recover and have a 70% chance of dodging. Now, that would trigger, 70% chance to trigger, so you've got to fall below 30%, so that's going to enter the start of turn, and you will have that, which is really good. You'll also have this full heal as well, so which is really good. The amount of people actually give full heal is, there's not that many, and probably a lot of people, even more seasoned, probably don't use this guy, and he's really, really good. Yeah, he has a 50% chance to launch an additional super attack, fitting in with his 30% chance to stun the enemy. It's that's for 2 turns as well, which is not bad at all. So you have a 50-50 chance of proccing a 30% chance. You could also have the hidden potential system. But this guy, as a floater in Super Battle Road, Extreme Super Battle Road, specifically monotypes, he's good. You can also use him on Sibling Bonds and Bonder Master and Disciple. Between Realm of Gods and Space Traveling Warriors, there's probably no fit for him, given that he's not as great as some of the other units. But don't deny this guy is really, really good. Now, in slot 7, we have Ginyu. Now, of all the Ginyu members, this guy's EZA is absolutely incredible. Prior to this, he had attack and defense when facing one enemy and 50% damage reduction when facing 2 or more. But now he has a big 170% at the start of turn, and he gets additional key attack and defense on one enemy. So that's up by 30%, and he gets the key. Then he gets attack as well as the damage reduction when facing 2 or more, and he gets more attack, and he's not affected by physical. That's what that basically means. When there's another Ginyu Force category ally on the team, which you will run. Now, considering the new Ginyu, who has an extra buff to Space Traveling Warriors with a 200% lead, if you run the Space Traveling Warriors with a Ginyu build, and you can do it, this guy is really good on there. He was probably one of the MVPs, if not the MVP, on to no item, which is quite easy, the Extreme Super Battle Road of the Ginyu Force. This guy is just absolute a demon. And let's not to mention as well that he actually seals the super attack. What else can he do? So he stacks attack, he seals, he has a big 170% at the start of turn. And of course he reduces damage against 2 or more enemies. That's Super Battle Road made. This guy, as a standalone unit, is really, really good. You can use him as a floater in Super Battle Road. You would struggle to get any of these links and struggle to get any key for him. You will get 3 key for one enemy, but when you enter into it, you're not going to get it, as there's always 2, 3, 4, even 5 people. So half of this passive, you're going to struggle unless, as I say, Ginyu Force or Planet Namek Saga, Dragon Ball Seekers, and Terrifying Conquerors, if they're based around the Ginyu Force. But not to mention this guy, compared to what he does, is such far and away the biggest standout. So now the next 2, I'm actually going to cheat a little bit. We'll just move Ginyu up in here. So I'm going to put these 2 together, as these 2 release pretty much the same time, and they have basically identical kits, and that is Ghost, Gotenks, and Candy, Vegito. Both of these are absolutely outrageous. So, Super Ghost Gotenks. So Super Saiyan Gotenks. So he does a lot, and he's extremely valuable, especially on some limited teams like Youth, Special Pose, Gifted Warriors, and Time Limit, where you can really help out. So for new players or anyone who can really get him, because he is a free-to-play player, so you can easily run this. So Fusion 77%, which is really, really good. Even prior to his awakening, still 50%, which can get you through some of the more newer Dokkan events, and you could get yourself through some of the quest stages. So for newer players, this guy can still be relevant for the Fusion category. But of course now, so he greatly raises attack and defense for one turn, so that's a 50% raise. But not only that, he has a 50-50 chance of stunning the enemy. So that alone is absolutely incredible. Of course, he's a rainbow orb changer, so that makes him quite universally to fit in amongst all the other players who struggle. So you think about the fusion unit, the physical LR, Gogeta, and the tech one who need or get more key from rainbow, and this guy can be a great partner for him. And you will trigger some of these as well. You will trigger Shattering the Limit, Fuse Fighter, Super Saiyan. You might even trigger Prepare for Battle, but you will trigger some of these. Now you get attack and defense per orb, and you also do a nice heal and attack and defense per rainbow orb. So you can afford to spare him quite a few. It's very common to get 3, 4, even 5 rainbow orbs out of there. Very powerful. Even prior to his awakening for new players, he still healed, although not as much, but he still got the same amount of attack and defense though, which is really, really good. And he still has a 30% raise rather than a 50% raise. So he's still really good for free-to-play players in many respects. They didn't really do much extra to him. They just made it a little bit better. And the other one, to try and cheat, because they're basically on the same lines, is the Candy Vegito. Absolutely just amazing at whatever he does. He stacks attack and defense, so compared to Greatly Raised, but again, he has a 50-50 chance of stunning the enemy. And how many turns is that? That's also for 2 turns. So he also, so where it gets a bit different is, while one has a little bit of healing and generates rainbow, you also have a great chance of evading any attack. So on the flip side, he has a 70% chance to attack, to dodge. Sorry, he has a 70% chance to dodge. That's the same as the UI Goku's, except now he gets attack and defense of 20% per tech key sphere, or just a little bit of defense per non-tech key sphere. So he's good anywhere around. The fact that he's actually an orb changer as well is really good. So that's what he does for you. But again, he 50% chance to stun, little bit of heal from the candy, same as the other one. But you get a little bit of heal mainly from these. But one's an orb changer and a dodge. The other one is more for creating the rainbow orbs. So again, both of them are really good. And again, prior to his awakening, while his leader skill is rubbish, he still stacked attack and defense, and he had a 30% chance to stun. That's not terrible. He still had a 70% chance to dodge, and he had a little less on each orb obtained. Now he just did, again, just like the Gotenks, they made him slightly better. So really good, absolutely amazing. So going into the next one, we now have the LR androids. So they've only just had their EZA, and they are absolutely amazing. So again, new players will have the key for 80% of stats. Prior to that, it was just 4 keys, so it's nice to see that we get an 80% of stats. Now, their EZA is a lot easier than some of the others where you have to have X amount of characters. This one, you had to do 90 missions featuring these. That's it. And you could easily run any easy event, any stage that cost very little stamina. It took you about 2 seconds to complete. I believe if you want to cheese it, the first stage that costs 5 stamina of the Broly Dokkan event is an easy one to go to actually just waste your way through this. Really good, really easy to do, and is incredibly impactful on a lot of these. So Android Cell Saga, Target Goku, and Android specifically, they are fantastic. Their presence is really, really felt. Now again, you kind of want to get them to an 18 key where they greatly raise their attack and defense, but they also lower attack and defense as well. What's the buff on that? The buff on that, it's not say it is 20%, lowers by 20% for 3 turns. That's really good. So again, 30% raise, still lowers attack and defense. 50% raise, lowers attack and defense. Now, again, you kind of want to run them as a floater, but they're still really good. 78% attack and defense when performing a super attack. They give all allies 4 ki and 50% defense straight off the bat, which works out really, really well when you're running on some of these bit of a wonky team where you got androids, Target Goku, and Android Cell Saga, where they could really greatly appreciate 4 ki and 50% defense. They get a nice ki and 70% attack, and an additional attack, which has a 30% chance of a super attack when you attack a super class enemy. And that will happen quite a lot. You will see that quite often. In fact, if you go through the Android Cell Saga and Android Super Battle Road and even Target Goku, you will find superclass enemies in there, so they're really good for that. So you're going to get an extra little bit of attack, and if you factor in the 18 ki, they're doing really good. They do have this. Now, the superclass enemies defense of 78%, that's really good, but it only really serves just to mean that everyone can actually hit them a bit harder. This is passive, by the way, so everyone can actually benefit from this. That just means that the regular attacks will just be a bit more, have a bit more weight to them, but that's really it. They share a lot of good links with a lot of the androids, and specifically only really made for the androids. But factor in the leader skill for more free-to-play players, or especially new players, and it's easier to get. Of course, this unit, let's not forget, comes from the friend summons, which again, if you're absolutely brand new, you might struggle to get the friend points. But play the game, complete the quest stages, you should have enough to at least get at least Rainbow Hunter SA 10 at some point in time. So really good for what they do. So we'll just stick them all the way up there. So now into the top 4, we have, and of course, that's the Great Saiyaman 1 and 2. Now, as I say, while not as offensively capable or even defensively capable as that LR Frieza, what they do is even better. So their their leader skill, is a nice 130% buff with 3 ki with all 5 super types. Prior to that, it was 100%, but there was no ki. Nice that they put this in. This was still useful for new players, as it's still the other friend summon LR in this. There's 3, and 2 of them are on this list. Now, prior to this, they still did quite a bit. They still gave 4 ki, 50% defense. Now, though, they do a little bit more. So they now actually have defense on their super attack, and of course, their 12 ki seals. That's actually really good, making them extremely valuable and much easier to attain this. Their 18 ki, you wouldn't really go for much considering the value of this super attack seal, but of course everyone gets a nice buff by 30% for 2 turns, which means even the following rotation will actually carry this over. They have a nice attack and defense at the start of turn. As I say, they still give 4 ki and a 50% defense. Now, considering you can run them on movie heroes, which is an incredibly weak team, it's very wonky. Defenders of Justice and Special Pose is also incredibly wonky and weak and needs a few more healthy appetizers in there to really flush it out some. Having this 4 ki and extra defense just flat out on these makes them extremely valuable. So again, much like the androids, the defense for extreme class has the defense lowered. Don't know why it's only 70% compared to 78, but no point in there. So really, really strong unit. They've got to go first. They have some decent stats considering it's free-to-play LR. Very powerful, 14,000. Now you factor in that they have 70% and they get 30%. It's still really, really powerful. So they super first, and they are taking double digits from all but tight disadvantage attacks. So powerful in that regard. For what they do for free-to-play players or new players with this leader skill, or even just prior to the EZA, they're an absolute must-run. So the next one will now be B-Pan. Now, realistically, you could have actually twisted my arm and put her much higher up, but of course, B-Pan is incredible, especially in her EZA form. Leader skill is a wipe, but the super attack is actually of pretty good value. So it's a 30% chance to stun the enemy, which is very good, of course. So, of course, you still have a 30% chance with the 18 ki, so no matter what, you're going to have that chance. Now, with the EZA, before, she had a high chance of reducing damage by 55%. Now she just reduces damage by that amount flat out, no matter what, making her extremely valuable. And of course, the reason why we all use her a lot is this recovers so much of health back as HP. So any amount of damage dealt is all just returned back. So you could quite easily just do a meager attack stab, which only puts out a couple of 100,000 at best. But again, you'll probably do nearly a full heal as you're getting a third of that back. And if you crit, you're guaranteed a full heal. Now, prior to that, prior to her EZA, I actually had her spec'd out for full dodge because she wasn't really worth much. But now you'll probably want to focus on additionals and crits, no dodge, just to really just double down on the amount of damage that you can just heal back. So what I don't like about her in particular is you get a high chance, it's only a 50% chance to get 3 key, and another one for another 3 key. I wish this was just 3 key flat out with a 50% chance of the additional instead of like flipping 2 coins. It's just stupid. It's a bit weird. She could have been so much better to have this, especially as the 18 key does greatly raise attack. I mean, you are going to hit that just a little bit more. She also does reach her 18 key much easier than someone else. I think it's only around, she gets a super attack at around 8 and 9. So it's around 13, 14 key that she actually gets an 18 key super attack in many respects. So it's really, really powerful, and she's great as a floater, especially with the stun chance and her damage reduction. She could just take all those blows. Her only downside is, of course, type disadvantage super attacks, or even some type disadvantage attacks. Now, because she has no defense in her passive, she can take damage, because as we all know by now, damage reduction alone is not enough. So if there's a little bit of support on her that gives just like 40%, 30%, she will be able to tank quite easily as it factors in both. Not having defense though, don't be too generous with the amount of attacks she'll take. So of course, that was number 3. Now it was really tricky to beat between these two. One is an LR and one isn't, and one was such a terrible SR to begin with that he's in the top 1. Now, of course, the top 3 you could probably change the order on, but I'm pretty adamant the second place person is no, it's Goku. So it's absolutely Goku. Now, again, you could quite easily just put him in slot 2. In slot 1, number 1 rather than number 2. But this guy, for what he does, for what he did when he came out and his awakening and his EZA and what he does, he's absolutely fantastic. And if this is a totally super easy free-to-play player, free-to-play unit, and the EZA for him as well is very easy to do. So Universal Saga is 70% across the board. Prior to his EZA, it's 50%, but that's actually pretty good if you're a brand new player. And he came out last year for the 6th anniversary now, so 77% and a nice battlefield leader of 50% should you get to it. So at SA 14 or higher, which we'll run 15, he now stacks. That's all he needs to do. So he is a nice 3 key 30% to all Universal Survival Saga allies, which is a big team and a powerful team. He has a nice flat out 120% at start of turn, which is really, really good. Except now he has a 50% chance to dodge any attack. Now the other UI Gokus do have a 70%, but mark my words, this guy having a 50%. In my other videos I said there are 3 UI Gokus you could run straight off the bat in Rep 7 and Tournament of Power just by using those teams. And these 3 UIs, they will put work in. You could even run them in Pure Saiyans, and the dodges alone, they will work. Never underestimate this 50%. Now, it is a flip of the coin, much more so than the others, but this guy's still really, really good. He has a nice start of turn. He has stacking attack and defense. If he did something else, maybe he lowered attack as well, or maybe he had something to do with crits, because he came out when the anniversary units had that 50% chance to crit on super, he probably would have been number 1. No, I'm just kidding. Number 1 is just better himself. So this guy, one of the easiest free-to-play units to come out. His awakening, his EZA is even just as easy realistically. And you can run him on TOP, Realm of Gods, Pure Saiyans, Rep 7, and Goku Family. They're the big ones. You can also run them on Kamehameha, but the roster's too good. Turtle School, Miraculous Awakening, and Powerful Comeback. Now, Miraculous Awakening and Powerful Comeback have a lot of overlap, and Legendary Existence have a lot of overlap, so you can run this guy in this. Bond of Friendship and Accelerated Battle, not so much. Could you run him in Realm of Gods? Yes, actually, he is, even though the caliber is extraordinary on Realm of Gods and even Pure Saiyans. He is very good. He's good to go straight away into it. Not a problem. And of course, number one, as you saw, was Roshi. This guy, what can we say? So, Turtle School, there's only one other leader, and that's the Heart Virus Goku, and that's only 130% to start. So, I mean, the Heart Virus Goku will have it is a Goku and does have Super Saiyan links and has Pure Saiyan links, so might fit in better with the what is essentially a Goku team. But this guy, unbelievable. So nice leader skill. So they did a lot on his Easy A compared to prior. Because compared to prior, he did have the chance of stunning, but he did nothing on this. Now it's buffed, so he has a 70% chance to stun on his 12 key and a guaranteed seal with a massive attack buff on his 18 key. In fact, he has a massive attack, but that's a 100% raise to his attack, and this is a ridiculous 628%. In fact, there's actually another Roshi wish this as well. It's that tech one from the tournament. But no, yeah, this guy on his super attack effects, fantastic. Super Battle Road for TOP, you'll find that it works really well. So yeah, so for those, he would also work well on, let's see, where's his categories? Rep 7, Universal Survival Saga, Bond of Master and Disciple, Earthlings, fantastic on Earthlings, All Out Struggle as well, Battle of the Wits, Turtle School. He will work really well. You can absolutely rely on this great chance of stunning the enemy. You could even go for the big attack buff, go for crits and seal. But let's be honest, you're gonna go for this. You get this off in any Super Battle Road or the Extreme Super Battle Road for TOP and Rep 7, which is kind of the same thing, you're going to be looking great. On top of which, he has a 30% chance to dodge any attack. He's a nice Turtle School buff, which basically means any Goku of 40% 3 key. And he does have a revive mechanic. We won't touch more into it because on the previous video we did this. It's not bad as well. You only have to get hit a certain amount of times, and you need to have X amount of Turtle School allies in the team. That is 2 more of the Gokus on there, bear that in mind. Which again, Rep 7, you will have that. That's not really a problem. To get that revive mechanic in Super Battle Road, though, you will have to run him on TOP and Rep 7. That's basically it. You could run him on Kamehameha, actually. He is very good on some of the others, as I say, just because of his great stun chance. He can seal, he can dodge. What else does he do? He's just fantastic. There's no doubt, absolutely in any capacity, that he is just number one by any short measure. He is just really that good. So, I hope you liked this video, and I hope it actually gave you a little bit of insight into what is the top 10. Otherwise, until next time, goodbye.